This is without a doubt in every category better than the Series S. Hands down. Looks better. It's quicker. More storage space, disk drive, you name it. It can do it better. But the fact that the Series S doesn't, it has 1/3 the power. But I would say it performs up to 80%. That is unreal. Either the Series S is the most efficient video game console that has ever been created, or the Series X is being wildly held back. I'm really excited to do some side-by-side comparisons, but it's really quite interesting. It's really quite interesting because we have this system, the Series X as it stands right now, this powerhouse of a system. What does it say on the box? It says a bunch of crazy stuff. You want me to read the box to you? 4K gaming up to 120 frames per second with an asterisk. Asterisk saying 4K and 8K HDR requires supported content and display use on Xbox Series S as content becomes more available. 8K HDR. Xbox Velocity Architecture, 1TB SSD, variable refresh rate, 4K Blu-ray player. This is what it's advertising. This is what it's excited to give us. Right on the front, 4K 120, the Velocity Architecture logo, 1TB SSD, Series X. Right? Great packaging. Forza right on the back. That game didn't even launch with it, which is crazy. This game didn't launch with it. Power your dreams. And we're sitting here with the Series X. We're using the Series X. Incredible system. It's powerhouse. It's a powerful system. And it outperforms the Series S in every single category. I can't say that the load times necessarily are faster. I feel like load times are honestly similar, but I need to get the Series S up and running again to see it. I can't say that the actual frame rate situation, because again, I want to go side by side, but I'd say that as far as consistency is concerned, it feels consistent, right? But I'll say this, that as someone who owns a PlayStation 5, and as someone who now owns a Series X, and as someone who owns a Series S, I'm looking at this experience. Granted, this is the beginning of my relationship with the Series X. I'm looking at it and I'm going, wow, what a system. Do I think the system is worth $500? You better believe it. The system is absolutely worth its money. $500 for sure. Is it worth it in comparison to the PlayStation 5 being $500? Absolutely. Is the Series S though really, honestly, priced fairly? And I would say it's priced lower than it should be, right? I don't think anyone's going to change it, but looking at the performance of this Series X, and just my initial thoughts, my initial impressions, right? I've only had it for the past 6 hours and I've only played it. This is the longest I've played it. I'm looking at this thing right now and I'm thinking to myself, as I said before, this has 3 times the power, right? If we're talking about the true power, the teraflops, 12 teraflops of power versus 4 teraflops, right? Not going to get into the intricacies of that, but just understand that that is just power. With that under the hood, you would expect it to outperform the Series S by 3 times, because that's the natural thing to think, right? 3 times the power should have 3 times the performance. But as it stands right now, currently a year and change into this current console generation, I'm looking at the Series X in my experience being better all around. This thing is rad. It looks better. It is awesome. But I think if I was going to put a number on this, it is performing only 20% better than the Series S. This system further confirms that the Series S is an incredible system. But I will say this, not having touched a Series X before, at least this much, I am impressed. I am fully impressed by this machine. And I'm really excited to see what is happening coming down the pike. And I'm really excited to actually finally come to a conclusion, which is a Series X an upgrade from the Series S, or is it simply just a little more power under the hood? Because I think people are still under the impression that if you buy a Series S, you will be upgrading to the Series X down the line, and I don't think that the jump between the two is big enough to consider it an upgrade. I think that if for some reason I had to get rid of the Series X and I got my Series S back, as it stands now, I wouldn't look at that Series S and be like, dang, this is not as good. I'm not enjoying my games. But I would absolutely notice the difference. It's noticeable. It's noticeable. And this is just preliminary things, right? And I'm doing this on a gaming monitor. Once we get that on the TV, we're really going to see a difference.